What's the secret of change? We don't fight the old. Instead, we focus on building the new. Welcome to the table of change. Come on in and have a seat at our table.
It's another week with Table of Change. We are back, Table of Change.
Oh my goodness, we got Jackie Fernando Moxley, Tamara Fox Smith.
And
we have a guest for you today, Marcelle Francis. Now, she was born and bred on the beautiful island of San Salvador. She is currently residing in New Providence. She is a wife, a mother of 2 gorgeous sons, and the grandmother of 5 wonderful grandchildren. And if you look at her, you would not believe this, 5 grandchildren. She is also an accountant for a private firm in account receivable. And this is her exact words, people. I didn't put words in her mouth. She said, make sure that I let you know that she is a proud Bahamian that loves her country dearly. Now, you guys got to help me out tonight because I got 2 San Salvador women inside the studio with me today. And me being the only Lucha woman, my Lucha people got to call in and help me out because I know these 2 San Salvador women got to have a lot to say. Marcelle Francis, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for welcoming me. Well, we have my home girl here. She's my home gal. She always, many times, many days, we talk about the service in the Bahamas. But tonight, we're not going to be talking among ourselves. Tonight, Mrs. Francis, we are going to talk with our Bahamian people, the love of your life. We're going to talk to them. We're going to let them know that we are here to make a difference. Share with me, what is your views on customer service here?
Customer service in the Bahamas is like a two-edged sword. It cuts both ways. You give to receive, you receive, you give. And we have just a massive amount of space left to better ourselves in customer service. I always say, you be the customer that you are serving, and you will give the service that you want. Wow. So every time someone comes up to you, you be the customer. Would you like someone to shout at you, snap at you, give you the little jiggy shoulders, they call it, because this woman getting on my nerve right now, or this man come here and see me going go have my breakfast, and he around here talking about he need copies and he need this and that. But you be that person who have someplace else to be in 15 minutes and you need them to give you a copy. How would you react if that person was the one behind the desk giving you that treatment? And so there's so many stories, there's so many experiences that I've had with people. I work in a customer service driven industry, and I have my moments, I have my days, and you leave home sometimes, you're upset, you're angry, things aren't always going well with you, but I always say leave your problems to the gate.
Wow.
Through the course of the day, your problems will wander away and you don't even have to take it back home with you. But you cannot bring your problems, your ill feeling, your bitterness from the person who cut you off on the road and spilled the coffee on you and all this and give it to the customers that you serve. Our customers pay the bills. Our customers keep our institutions functioning, up and running. And so when we give customer service, it should be that I would like to be employed here for another 30 years. And so I'm going to make sure that I have a repeated customer, or that this customer is pleased enough to come back and to spread the word that the service was so great. And as much as we spread the word of great service, we spread it more so with bad service. We get on social media and we do all that stuff. And then we get mad when the people say, I've been this place and this lady was so rude and this happened, and we're mad because this person is talking about me and, how I said this or did this or whatever. Well, what is your role in it? What did you do or not do to cause that person to react? And so in this country, we have, oh my gosh, there is so much room for improvement. The problem comes in for customer service from where I sit, what I see, what I've experienced is we get these people, we put these people as the frontline people. You know, they say your face is your passport to the world. Well, the people that we put on the front line, they're the passport to your institution.
That's right.
And so they're coming in the morning and they're grumpy because they had a bad night or, like I say, something happened. And we're human and we're going to have our feelings. Some know how to deal with it better than others. But we fail to train our workers. We fail to train them to deal with customers. Everybody's going to have a bad day at some point in time, but it's not your customer's fault. So you have to be able to separate both. My personal feelings, how I feel, a lady walk in the door, I don't like her. You know, we go to the same church or we do this and I just don't like her. And so because you don't like her, she's doing business at your institution. But you're going to be rude because I don't like her for whatever reason it is. But is that customer care?
Wow.
All right. Do you want to have this person support your business, your entity, or whatever? Because personally, you don't like her, so the company suffers. Because when I walk out there and I get this terrible service, I'm going to go and I'm going to call my sister and I'm going to say, girl, let me tell you what happened to me today. And then I'm going to call my friend and my coworker and they're going to talk to others and say, you will not believe what happened today, right? I will share a story with you. I went downtown last week.
Okay.
And I am on the junction of East and Bay Street, right up the road from Central Police Station. I'm crossing the street. And my feet goes directly into this hole. And thank God I was not walking too fast that I was able to just like stop. Had I continued walking, I probably would not be sitting here because I would have had a broken ankle or something. And so I'm concerned and I'm like, I'm just totally perplexed that we have uniformed police officers who stand in that junction. They're up and down walking on Bay Street. That hole is a danger to people.
Right.
And I'm like, it happened to me and I could have very well just continued to take my foot out the hole and walk on. And I did. There was no police officer in the junction at the time I did. But when I got back to my office, I decided, you know what? We complain, but we don't complain to the right people.
Thank you.
So I don't know who to call right now to address this. So let me call tourism police. So I called, and a female officer who answered, polite and everything. And so I proceeded to tell her what had just happened. And I said, as a citizen of this country, what do you think would be the ramification if that was a visitor or a tourist who had stepped into that hole and broke their ankle? It's a blind hole. The hole is on the surface of the road, so you do not see any dredging or anything. It's just a hole. And, okay, so she was quite cordial with me. And she said, okay, I will log this in, but you need to call the Ministry of Works. Did I have a problem with that? I certainly did. Because I am just a normal citizen walking by who almost broke my ankle. And I could very well have said, well, when somebody else falls in and broke their ankle, maybe they'll address it. No, I want it addressed before someone gets injured. So she says, I'll log it, call Ministry of Works. Okay, hung up, that was that. And I'm like, we need to do something about it. So I decided I'm going to call the main tourism office. I did. I spoke to a wonderful lady named Michelle. I don't know what Michelle's last name was, but Michelle was so nice, welcoming, and all that. So I stated what happened to her, and she was like, oh my God, Mrs. Francis, I am so grateful that you called. Yes, can you just imagine if a tourist stepped into that hole, and not just a tourist, anyone step into that hole, and they just weren't looking or didn't see it, they really could be injured. And I'm so grateful that you called. I will call Ministry of Works and ask them to address it too. Go and check the hole out, maybe put a plate on it until they're able to close it up completely. Right now, to me, that was a good response.
Right.
Because I'm saying something as a citizen, and I'm saying to you, it needs to be rectified. Call Ministry of Works, I could have done that, right? But I think I reached out to the people I should have to address it because it was just not a hole anymore. was supposed somebody got injured.
Right.
What would happen then, And so in terms of taking the ball and running with it and say, oh yeah, we can't have that happen. We will address it. We just complain to the wrong people.
Yes.
Simply put, we complain to the wrong people. I had another experience. I walk in the afternoons at Goodman's Bay. And as far as I'm aware, and I could be wrong, stand to be corrected, the park is supposed to be a playground park. There is a walking circle, and there is playground equipment for kids. And every evening, there are cars driving around in the circle where the walkers are. And they have the nerve to toot to you to get out of the way. Cars aren't supposed to be on that park, okay? Not on the park. There are parking spots for vehicles. Children are playing on the park, and these cars are just driving. But the ice cream van goes by every single day. And then there are people in the little cars, and they're climbing the coconut trees, and they're driving the cars around. So I took it upon myself because I'm a walker.
Right.
I don't want no car, motorbikes, they're speeding. I don't want anybody to knock me down while I'm supposed to be in a safe space. I called the environment, and I called parks and beaches only on 3 occasions. On 3 occasions, I spoke to someone there, and I'm stating my case. I said, I know you have a metal bar across so that when you have official events, you can open the bar when you need vehicles to drive on the park. But they've knocked down the wooden pegs that you have there to prevent vehicles. And that has been about over 2 months. And the cars are literally parked on the park every single day, and they're driving around, and kids are on the beach and running on the park. And what do we do in terms of getting service or having this looked at? Wait until somebody is knocked down, killed, and then we said, oh my gosh, go out there tomorrow and put up those poles. Mm-hmm. So in terms of service, you take it to whom you assume should be addressing it, and it falls on deaf ear. And so what do you do when you go to the people that is supposed to be addressing your concern? And there is, nothing, absolutely nothing, right? And so in the Bahamas, we're not proactive.
No.
We don't do anything to prevent things from happening. If you run a business, and this is your personal business, and you ain't doing no 9 to 5 working for nobody. This is your business, and you see your employees being rude and disrespectful, and you're losing customers, you're going to address it because it affects you personally. Mm-hmm. And so we have these institutions, and no, I don't agree that all government workers are rude and bad and all that. But you know what? There are so many bad ones.
Yeah.
They dim in the light on the ones who do good. And so the service, the way you speak to people makes them want to come back or whatever. Just your body language in terms of how you treat it. You're having a bad day, they're having one too.
Yes.
But you're being paid to perform a service. And you can't even get a simple, good morning, how are you? Morning. Like, don't say nothing to me. How can I help you? That kind of way, right? And so how am I going to react when you respond to me like that? I'm going to get defensive, and now we're going to have a problem, right? And then it's always, oh, she come in here with this or that. But it's simply how you responded to me, so I just reacted to the way you responded to me. And so service, listen, man, I don't understand how people can't give good service. It makes you feel so good to make someone's day.
You're right.
Man, look here, when you could do something good for someone walking and you said, good morning, you look quite happy today, or you whatever. You don't know what people are going through, right? And it brightens their day and it brightens your day. But we have people, let's see how I can put this. Because I just get so frustrated with the lack of proper service, especially the ones that you're paying for. We just have people, the wrong people sitting in these chairs. That's all I can say. The wrong people sitting in the chair. They're not prepared to give. We have managers. They're rude. So what do you think the staff is going to do? The staff is going to be rude too because there's nobody to chastise them or nobody to monitor them, right? And so the service you hear, the tourists. They'd come in and they'd ask things. The way I've witnessed our people speak to this is our number one industry. The way they speak to people, it's like advertising. Word of mouth gets out. When we have good service, it's all over the place. Oh, this happened and these people are so nice and this and all that, And when we have bad service, it gets, so then we're angry when we see these things on social media. People talking bad or whatever. But if you had the experience, you would do likewise. And I could go on all year now. I could go on all year with this, okay? I've had the experience at Bahamas Air.
Oh, my.
Okay? I flying. My family and I are traveling. And an elderly lady came up to me, and her grandson had missed the flight the day before. And she was asking me if I can accompany him. We're going on the same flight, and someone would meet him at the airport. And the agent that was serving me, who was quite rude, I wouldn't take him. If I was you, I wouldn't have nothing to do with it. And first of all, I'm like, well, actually, she's not speaking to you. She's asking me to do something. Well, I wouldn't do it. And I'm like, well, you wouldn't do it and you're not me. So I proceeded to have her check the young man in and take him and all that. One of her co-workers came and asked us something. The way she spoke to her co-worker, in front of all those people, because she's upset now, and the way she spoke to her, and I'm like, you're just out of line. There's no way you should speak to her the way you're speaking to her in front of public. So she just rolled her eyes at me. And so I'm addressing her with what I think is her rudeness. Mm-hmm. And so she checked us in, and then so she just kind of threw the stuff on the counter. And my husband said, anyway, get the stuff she's done. I said, no, I did not throw my documents on the counter to her. I handed them to her, and she will pick them up, and she will hand them back to me. And she just rolled her eyes, looked at me, and she picked them up, pushed them through the glass, give them to me. And I'm like, well, thank you so much, and have yourself a wonderful day. She's, I got to suck teeth because I'm actually addressing her behavior.
Right.
You see? And so when the behavior is being addressed, then you are a problem.
Yeah.
But how do you get service? You have to demand it. If I'm paying for service, and my grandchildren tell me all the time, oh my God, my two granddaughters, Grammy, you just gotta let it go. Oh. And I'm like, no, you can't let it go. It's on principle.
Yes.
Okay? You just can't let it go. I went to buy a uniform skirt for my granddaughter on Saturday. I won't call the store name or anything.
No, it's okay to call the store
name. No, I won't call the store name, but I'm just going to say, in terms of, I speak my mind, and I do it very respectfully. I don't need an audience to address anyone or to say what I have to say. I'd say, can I have a word with you, please? And I would take you someplace away from everyone. But I went to purchase a skirt, and the young lady brought it out. She said, oh, I think she may be a size XYZ. She gave me the skirt. So I said, well, this is in the school that I want. And she's like, no, I want her to try it on because I want to get her waist size. Okay, she did. She went and she got the school, the one that I wanted, the skirt. Now, the skirt was $60, which still in my heart. But anyhow, the skirt was $60. And so this is a press skirt because it's on the rack for sale. And so she bought me a skirt that just came off the machine. So it wasn't pressed or anything. So I'm like, well, I want a press skirt. And she's like, well, these aren't pressed. I said, I can see that. But if the press skirt on the rack is $60, then this unfinished skirt cannot be $60 because it's going to cost me another $12 to $15 to press the skirt. And so if I'm buying this skirt from you, I expect the skirt to be pressed. So I'm talking to the young lady who was serving me. And so this other lady who was in the store, who happened to be one of the, I guess, operators or whatever of the store, well, they're not pressed yet. So if you want it, you're going to have to take it and get it pressed. Okay, so now that triggered me.
Yeah.
But of course, I have my granddaughters with me, so I have to be polite. And so I said, so how much does it cost for you to press the skirt? We pressed them ourselves. I said, okay, and it goes on the rack for $60 after it's pressed. Well, I'd like to have a skirt off the rack. We don't have any on the rack. And I'm like, okay, so you want me to spend $60 and you want to speak to me in this tone? I said, you don't get to speak to me like that. If I'm spending my money, I can go elsewhere. Mm-hmm. She said nothing. She just shrugged her shoulders. Of course, I knew that she wanted the sale, right? But so it was a teaching moment with my granddaughters. And she said, Grammy, could you just pay for the skirt and let's go? Because I know where you're going to take this. We can be right in there. Let's go and get breasts. You know? And I'm like...
Marcel, what gives you the courage? What gives you, like, sometimes I'm in that situation and I want to confront it. But sometimes I feel like I just don't have the energy because I think I've gotten so much negative response. What gives you the courage or the fortitude now to actually point it out to that person?
Well, I look at it that we are assuming that someone would have addressed it before with them or would have said something to them before. Nobody may have ever said anything. They give this attitude and nobody, people just walk out and then when they get outside, they grumble. But I want you to know that your press skirt is $60. And you're giving me an unpressed skirt, but you still want me to pay you $60. So now what's going to happen here? So you have to bring things like this to their attention. You know what I mean? If I go and I get a plate of food, I serve you a plate of food and you order a chicken dinner and I give you everything except the chicken, that's a problem. You shouldn't be paying full price for the plate of food, right? And so I bring these things, like I say, very respectfully, I bring these things to people's attention. I know what I want to receive. And I make every effort to give, even better than what I want to receive. So when I speak to people, I always, you leave that little open bracket there because that person may be having a bad day. They may just be having a bad day or whatever. So sometimes it's not okay as a tit for tat. He come in here and he's speaking and asking me for Mr. So-and-so or Mr. I'm clear just like I hear him or whatever. But he might have been preoccupied or whatever. So I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Now, when we run on a little bit and you and I see your true colors in terms of that, then I would address it differently, But I do it because people need to be made aware that you're out of line. You're rude.
That is what...
I like how you're giving the respect that you're demanding. And I think that's what some of us and the listeners need to hear. We cannot just go, what they say, from A to Z. I like how you break it down. You give them the option of hearing where they're going wrong, repeating it out loud in terms of the skirt not being pressed, and giving them the opportunity now to confront the situation. But I think if I don't get anything from what you're saying, what I like is that you're giving the respect that you're demanding.
Exactly.
And what I see, and this is Mrs. Frances Mazel, I'm really proud of her. She is that type of person, and she is doing exactly what we are trying to bring about on Table of Change. We don't keep talking among yourselves. Confront the person in a nice way, of course, because you would actually be training them the same time. And so we, people, Bahamians, it's because of us. The Bahamas is like this because we keep accepting the way service is given. We just cannot afford that anymore. We made this problem. We contribute to this problem, and now it's time for us to contribute to making it better and different.
And that's why we need to call in. The numbers to call in tonight is 325-5403 through 5. 325-5403 through 5, and our Family Islanders, 300-8255. We need to call in, talk about the issue, get some resolution to the issue. But Marcel, one of the things I have to ask, what advice are you giving your 5 grandchildren for when they enter into the workforce?
Oh, Jill, you have enough time for this?
I just want to say one thing. We apologize. I know some of my listening audience is saying that it's breaking up. They cannot hear well. And so we're apologizing right now. I'm just hoping that some of you can really hear us well. Okay, but we're going to continue the show, but just wanted to say that.
Listen, I have had the good fortune of being raised by my grandmother. And when I was growing up, I used to think my grandmother was the meanest person on earth. She had a motto. She used to say, you are a female.
Right.
It makes you a potential wife and mother.
Wow.
You may never be any of those, but God forbid if you become one, you will be equipped to carry out your duties. And I've been raised under that text. You are going to learn to do everything. Respect yourself, and then automatically you will respect others. Give to others what you expect in return. And so my granddaughters, especially the oldest one, she'd always say, if a day ever come and you don't say, and mama said or mama used to say, then something is wrong. Because that is the way I've been raised for service. Okay, raised in service. And so I pour myself into those girls, trying to tell them, don't expect anything when you give from the heart. Do for others who cannot do for you. Okay, so you're not doing anything to get a favor back. Do for others. Be respectful to and for people, because you don't know what people are going through. Okay, you have your moments. I'll tell you a little story about one of my granddaughters.
We are going to a break right now. Table of Change will be right back.
Respect the sign. When vehicles without an accessible parking permit use a parking space designated for persons with disabilities, even for just a minute, that's 60 seconds too long. The abuse of accessible parking spaces is a daily frustration for persons with disabilities. It is inconsiderate, insensitive, and hinders persons with disabilities from effectively conducting business and actively participating in community life. Never park in a space reserved for people with disabilities unless you have a permit to do so. It is the right and respectful thing to do. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, a unit in the Ministry of Social Services and Community Development. For more information, visit www.disabilitiescommissionbahamas.org.
The Princess Margaret Hospital Blood Bank is in urgent need of blood donations of all types. Blood bank hours of operation are as follows. Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The last donor will be accepted at 4:30 p.m. On Sundays, the blood bank is closed. Identification needed for donation include your NIB card or driver's license. Do not attempt to donate if you are sick or experiencing respiratory symptoms. Do not come to the blood bank in large groups, as we will be accommodating 3 persons at a time. For more information on how you can become a blood donor or instructions on what to do before coming to donate blood, please contact the blood bank at 502-7822.
You see what going down, babe? Them jokers running free. You need to go report what you see.
Me? For them to clip me next?
I ain't saying going to the police directly.
Well, what you talking about then?
Call Crime Stoppers Bahamas. You can tell them directly what going down.
Wait, Crime Stoppers is the police, you know?
No, my boy. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami or Toronto, Canada. So no one can know it's you. And you don't have to give them no personal information, because they just give you a pin.
Wait, what you talking about though?
They got their own system down there to get the information where it need to go. I just saying, if you ain't got nothing to lose, you might as well get these jokers off the street.
True, and so Crime Stoppers is the one that's give you plenty money for that hot news, eh?
Yeah, and if you help the police with the arrest, from pin you get some balance. So I just saying, win-win, my boy.
So, what the number is though? Free up the number.
Do the right thing. Stop the crime before it's your time.
Bing.
Call Crime Stoppers Bahamas today at 328-8477 or from the Family Islands, 242-300-8477. It's safe, and the life you save may be your own.
This public service announcement was brought to you by Crime Stoppers in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Table of Change is back. We are back with you, Table of Change. We want to give a shout out to Dorot's Grocery Store in San Salvador. Dorrit, on top of the Hill Church Street. I heard that your store is just full, everything and more you can get there. One more shout out is going to the Boulevard. Listen, if you ever want to hang out after a long week at work and you want to take a rattler, I love the rattler, you can go at the Boulevard and play some pool and karaoke and just enjoy yourself.
Now, Jackie, don't forget the Turning Point now. We have to remember our friends at the Turning Point nightclub, the best hangout spot for a mature crowd.
It is, because that is a spot of mine. You know, the last time, the last time I was there, listen, I almost turned it into a church. It was so nice.
Marcel, oh my goodness. Marcel, you are such a fascinating guest. I could just listen to you go on, and I hope you remembered what you were about to tell us about the granddaughter. You started telling us about the granddaughter. Please, I was captivated by the start of your story. Please continue with that.
Okay, so we were in the car one day, and she was like, Grammy, tell me, how would you react if you were sitting in the room, you and some of your friends, or no, me and some of my friends are sitting in a room, and you walked in, we all looked over our shoulder, looked at you, and burst out laughing. And I was like, well, I would assume that you're laughing at me, and I don't think I'd feel good about it. But we weren't laughing at you. We were just laughing. We just happened to look over. I said, but that would not make me feel good. Anyhow, that was her moment. And I said, well, you be the person walking in the door. How would you feel if a group of children did it to you? She's like, I'm just asking. It's just hypothetical, because that one is like that. Okay, the following week, she assisted at a function, and a grown woman, this because she's 11 years old now, and a grown woman made her cry. And she spoke bad to her, and she's like, get away from this table, because she was serving. And I don't want nothing from you. I don't want you to serve me. Get away from me. Get away from me. And so, of course, she broke down. She went inside. She cried and all this and stuff. And because she knows her Grammy likes to protect them and address them. And she's like, she told her friend, do not tell my Grammy what happened. And so anyway, I wasn't at the function. I went to pick her up. When I went to pick her up, her friend came out and she said, Miss Francis, you wouldn't believe what happened. A lady I won't call her name, made her cry. And I was like, yeah, what happened? Because I like to get the three sides of the story, you know. And so she was like, this lady made her cry. And so I said, well, what happened? She shouted at her and say all kind of mean things to her and all that. So I was like, yeah, okay, you know. Anyway, she came in the car and drove off, and I didn't say anything right away. So I said, well, what happened? What did the lady say to you to make you cry? And she's like, oh, I'm going to kill her, because I told her not to open her mouth. Wow. Because I know you would come in the back there. I said, no. I said, this is a teachable moment for you. Remember when you told me the other day that if you and your friends were sitting down and someone walked in the room and you all burst out laughing, and I told you that would be a feeling you wouldn't want to experience? I said, well, there you have it. Mm-hmm. Now you got the experience, how what other people say or do, how it hurts you. I said it hurt you to the point where you cried. So do you see how other people's action affect other people? Let this be a moment for you to see how what you say and do affect other people and how you make them feel. Yeah. You know, and so these are things that we have to teach our children, because children are what would I say? Children are mean. Sometimes they know they're being mean. Sometimes they're just being children. Like they're not thinking down the road in terms of how they make people feel or whatever. So we have to start by teaching them to be considerate of others. Give what you want to receive. You don't want anybody to slap you, push you, bully you, this kind of thing, then you don't do it. If you see something happening, say something. Yeah, you don't want to get in a fight, so you don't want to get in it, but then go and call an adult. Have the matter addressed. And so that's your way of helping. That's your way of being there for the person. So I just try to teach them, you get what you give. Okay? If you don't water your plant, it will die. Okay? And so when you go into an institution, you start by saying good morning. It don't matter how the person look, how grumpy they look. You say good morning or good afternoon. Excuse me. May I speak with so-and-so? Or is it possible that I use your phone or something? I said, you be the polite one.
Right.
Right? And then when you're courteous and you're polite, then they'll be in return, even though they're supposed to be the one addressing you as you walk in. Right? And so we have to teach them from now to you be the one. You be the courteous and respectful one, because sometimes out of the mouth of babes, the adults learn or see. You know, and so I spend my time, you know, don't walk into a room unless you knock on the door. That's showing respect. Right? If you see someone talking, and I always say to them, never stand behind someone when you want their attention. You get in front of them, even if you wait, but you get in front of them and make them see you. And then you say, excuse me, X, Y, Z. Right? And so it's just teaching the children to be respectful so that when these adults look down, they would say, okay, well, she's just a child and she was this and she said good morning and she said this and all that, right? But they complain all the time when they go places and this and whatnot. And I don't complain when I go places for food. That's one time myself Francis keep our mouth shut.
I with you. I don't mess with anyone that mess with my food. But one of the things I like what you said in terms of, I like when you called when you called to address the issue of the pothole. I like how, I think because of your tone, she quickly said she was grateful that you called. And the fact of, Jackie and I always say that we're in service. It's like no matter what we do, we're in service. As a wife, you're in service to your husband. You're in service to your children. You're in service to your grandchildren. I just want to know, what gives you that inner peace to be in service? What do you reflect on, or where do you get that peace from?
From the way I've been brought up. I row with my husband all the time. He don't row with me. He says he don't row with me. I row and I get mad. And I express myself respectfully. I don't do it in front of anyone or anything like that. But I say, no, we need to talk about this. If I raise my voice, that is in the order of respect, because I've already told you I'm upset about something and I want to get this out. But I'm not going to do it in the front of anyone or whatever, right? And so you have to learn to control your speech, even though you're angry. Nobody wants anyone screaming, shouting, cursing at them to try to get a message across. But if I say to you, listen, Tamara, I'm very upset about something you said or you did, and I need to address it. If my tone is a little harsh, I think you would understand, because I preempted my tone by saying I'm very upset about this. And so you would overlook it per se because it's in a moment, right? I had an experience with a coworker. And I snapped at her. Not that I said anything out of order or whatever the case may be. I came in, she wanted something, and I said, well, you'll have to give me a few minutes, but I need it now. And I said, now look here, And later on in the afternoon, I realized, okay, I said what I had to say, but my tone was disrespectful, And so I called her and I said, I apologize for the tone I used with you earlier. I meant everything I said. What I said, but I apologize for the tone in which I related to you, and she was like, well, yeah, I gathered I was pushy in that kind of way. And so you address it when it happens instead of walking off and leaving it. And then, the person is pouting and then saying nothing to you for the next week. And you wonder what happened to her, and stuff. And some people are not expressive in expressing their feelings. You offend them and then they retreat. They go to a corner. They just ain't got nothing to say to you no more. And so we have to do self-check.
Right there, where you said self-check. We are all, it's just how we were made up. And we can't run away from it. When God placed us here, He really wants us to self-govern ourselves. And just like you were teaching your grandchildren, you are teaching them how to control yourself. Because what I see, or what will happen is that if Mazel control herself, govern herself in every area, Jackie does the same thing, Tamara does the same thing, and your grandchildren, and we all live in one community, you will find out that you will have a better community. Mm-hmm. So we have to emphasize, like, you are responsible for your action, and you do have the power to control yourself.
Mm-hmm, most certainly.
And it makes a good marriage. It makes a good family. It makes a good community. It makes a great island, and it makes a great Bahamas. But we have to know that is given to us. We can do it.
We sure can. And like I said,
but Jackie, I feel like society is somehow dictating that you have to be loud in order to be heard. It's like somehow you have to be seen in order to be heard. Even in correcting a customer service issue. One of the things I like is the way Marcel corrects it by giving the respect that she's expecting to get back. But a lot of times, even when the customer is right, but they stand on a platform now and put on a show for everyone that's inside the organization hearing this loud outbursts. It's like somehow when you touch on how we conduct ourselves, I don't know, Jackie, somehow I feel like society is saying that we have to be loud, crude, and obnoxious in order to express ourselves.
I think sometimes I think depending on where you are, people sometimes don't hear you unless you're loud. You can be loud and not rude. You could say, guys, can we have some service here, please? We can see a lot of staff in the bank, but no one is coming to serve. Mm-hmm. You can still be loud and still polite because sometimes people don't stop and listen until you get loud. So you have to kind of know when you need to be loud. If you're talking to someone who's right in front of you, then you don't need to be so loud because they can hear you. But if you are on a long line and you have people, sometimes I think you have to raise your voice so everybody can hear and listen. It's hot out here. We need some attention. There are too many staff just walking around not paying attention to us. What do you say about that, Ms. Francis?
Well, I always say just common courtesy. The biggest problem I have with customer service here in the Bahamas is we don't respect people's time.
Yeah.
Time.
I mean, they don't.
We don't respect people's time. That I am on my lunch break, my 1 hour. And I am standing here, and there's 6 of you in the back there talking, having your own private little thing going on, but I'm still standing on this line, and the clock is ticking. Yeah. And I have to get back to work because I don't have the job that you have. Okay, my 1 hour off is my 1 hour off for lunch, not 2.5 hours. Everybody don't work for the same entity. Who has that leeway or, the little space for that, right? And that's one of the biggest issues I have, the lack of respect for time and the common courtesy to say, excuse me, ma'am, we're running a little late because we had some issues. And so we couldn't turn this on or this couldn't turn on. Ma'am, the meals aren't ready yet because the gas went out and so we had to wait for a while or whatever. Just tell me so I know what I'm dealing with. Okay? I have an appointment with you for 11 o'clock. And it's 11:15 and you stuck 5 miles away or something like that. Common courtesy, call me and say, Mrs. Francis, I know we're supposed to meet at 11, but I probably won't get in until 11:45. Can you still make it or do we need to reschedule?
And that's the thing to do.
And then I probably say, okay, it's best if we reschedule or I'll run some errands and then I'll wait for you. So the lack of respecting other people's time, again, you don't want me to do that to you. A simple phone call, just telling me, right, allows me to do something else or reschedule without ill feelings because you had no control over your tire getting flat. So I can't blame you for having a flat tire or whatever may have happened in emergency. The child got sick. You had to go to the doctor, the hospital. I can't fault you for that. But I can fault you for not informing me that you're going to have me sitting outside waiting for 4 hours for you.
And what amazes me is that wherever you go, they want your phone number. What's your name, Marcel Francis? What's your telephone number? What's your email? What is that information for? I'm thinking it's so we can call you in case of anything. We went. I'm going to call your name, Mavis. I know you're listening. Mavis had an appointment to a government institution, and she went to the appointment. When we got there, there's a sign on the door stating that they're not open. Now, the appointment was made. The number was left. Why didn't she get a call to say they're going to be closed for a few days? I mean, I just think they feel good. They feel like they're in charge. When someone has to drive, come where you are, and I'm not even sure if there was a sign on the door. I think someone had to tell us what really happened. It just has to change, and that's why Table of Change, we are coming on every week. We are just trying to sensitize persons that we can change the way service is given in the Bahamas. We just have to stop accepting it and push for it to change and make sure it does. And together we can do it.
You know what I just thought of? I just want to see if any one of you have experienced this. Whenever trying to get a plumber or an electrician or someone to come out to my house, they always say to me, I'm going to come in the morning or the afternoon. Well, how is that acceptable? If I'm calling you to do work at my house, how is it acceptable for you to tell me in the morning or the afternoon? Or is that acceptable, or am I being picky, ladies?
Well, what do you say when they say that to you? What is your response?
Well, my response is, what time? Because the morning could be from when the sun rises until, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Or if you say the afternoon, it could be from 12 o'clock until the evening. And then I'm made to feel that I'm a stickler for time because I want a time or some idea.
No.
So then I always have to compromise and say, okay, I understand that you may have other jobs that may run over, etc. But okay, let's do this. You're coming in the morning, but as soon as you're done with your other job, please give me at least 20 minutes before you come to my home.
But Tamara, if I'm hiring someone to come to my house and they're not going to tell me what time they're coming, that's not the person to do the job. It's just,
I agree.
You're not the person to
I
do the job.
agree with you, Jackie, but in a lot of incidents, I'm sure someone out there, anyone listening to this, call in 325-5403-5 because I'm sure people come across this a lot with dealing with plumbers or electricians that they tell you in the morning or in the afternoon.
They can very well say that. And so if that particular person or persons keep saying that, we just have to not give them the job. And that way they would have to give a time. Like, unless you're someone who's a Grammy or a great grandmother who's home all day and it don't matter because I'm going to be home all that day, then okay.
Well, I'll raise.
But it does matter, Jackie, because as soon as you go to sleep, that's when they're going to knock on the door. Even though you may be retired or you may be home or you may have plans to go nowhere, you still need to have some idea of the time.
Well,
so I would say, okay, at least give me a call. Give me a call when you're done with your job and when you're on your way to me. They never do that. They just show up at the house and it's a bad time.
Well, you still have the choice. So it's for me, I'm just going to hire you or I'm not going to hire you.
But sometimes it isn't even left up to having the choice. I'd give you a personal experience of mine. I had a leak in my bathroom wall. Didn't know where it was. And my darling husband gave our son the jackhammer. And I don't need to say what happened there. You could see from one bathroom straight to the next bathroom. By the time he was done, broke out the whole wall. Anyway, we ended up having to get the plumber, and so now the place have to be retiled and all this. And so the mason came, and he said, I have a good tiler. This, he's really good. Got the young man. He came first day, did a good job and all that. Next day, he was supposed to come at 8:30 in the morning. 10:20, he ain't there yet. 10:30, he's in there yet. And so my husband called him, and he's like, well, I home because I ain't get no ride. Wow. And see, I like, for the love of God.
Yeah.
Man, I gave you a job. I'm responsible for getting you to my house. They have buses. Get on the bus. And if you were supposed to be at 8:30, could you not have called at 8 o'clock and say, well, I need a ride or whatever the case may be? Anyway, my husband is like, anyway, leave that alone. He came, and I never listened to my husband. Let me put it like, never listened to what my husband said anyhow. So he came, and when he came to the door, I said, listen here, before you step into my house, let me explain something to you. You are in my home, okay? My girls are in this house. You're working on the bathroom. When we set up a schedule, because I didn't throw the schedule on you, you gave me the schedule. When we set up a schedule of your timing, I expect you to be here, or I expect an explanation as to why you cannot be here. I want you to finish this bathroom today, and then I am terminating your service. Because your work ethics does not match what I'm paying for. Okay? And he was like, oh, Miss Francis, give me a chance. I said, no, we can't work like this. You're giving me a time. I'm expecting you to be here at a certain time. If you can't be here, I expect you to call me. Mm-hmm. You're going to have situations will happen, yeah, but call me and let me know why you ain't here at 8:30 or why you can't be here at 8:30, right? You're working in my house. So you're a stranger. Mm-hmm. You're a man. I need you in and out. I need you to do what you tell me what you're going to do in the time that you told me you're going to do it. If you run into a little difficulty, I'm here. People understand that, right? And let me tell you something. This young man is an excellent tiler. I would have recommended him to the king for tiling, okay? But because of his work ethics, I have not made one recommendation about this man. And, people came to us and they're like, oh my God, who tiled this bathroom? Who did this? This is off the chain. But I wouldn't recommend him to anybody because I have to go and pick you up.
Yep.
And then in the middle of the job, you want a couple of dollars.
Exactly.
I give me one little $50 I need to do. Now, see, I don't do business like that. Up front, me and you will sit down and discuss this contract. Okay? You want me to pay you half down now, and then the other half when you finish? No. I like to get paid when I'm finished the job. So don't come in between there asking me for $50. Bad work ethics causes us to lose out on so much bad work.
So
They're capable of doing a job, but the work ethics, right? They don't care about the customer. They're not thinking about, I'm in this woman's house, and she have these girls in here, and both bathrooms are down, and so at some point in time, they're going to need these bathrooms through the day, and so let me get in and out. Work ethics in terms of customer care it's just deplorable getting these workmen to come to your house on time and do a job, and they won't get paid up front.
Yeah.
Right? Then you don't see them for 6 months. You either got to get somebody else to do the job, or they get an attitude with you when you call them for something you already agreed to do. So it's just the customer service. Oh my God, customer service. And then when you are a woman, all these women do is just not. Oh, Jesus, that's so difficult to work for a woman. Why? Because we hold you to a schedule. Yeah. We hold you to your word, so we become difficult people to deal with. My husband don't go nowhere with me when I gonna address issues. He stay in the car, he stay home. Because I am going to have my issue addressed.
Yes.
Respectfully, but I'm going to have my issue addressed. So he said, no, you go inside, I can stay outside. And
trust me, I get treated the same way because I want a time. When you say to me, I tell the plumber to come, and he say he's coming in the morning, I'm like, call him back and ask for a time. What time is he coming? So then we are, like you say, the difficult woman.
Well, we have a caller on the line. Let's go, Mrs. Robinson.
Hi, good night to all. Just want to chime in with, I think I cut out at one point, so I'm not saying exactly where you guys are. But just want to chime in reference to, and what just came to me when I don't know who it was speaking about a plumber and electrician and their service and not giving a time and all this other stuff. But my just 5 cents, if I can say that, is that we have accepted so many different or bad service that it came, or it is right now, an accepted norm. So, and whatever you accept, it's allowed.
Yes.
And it will continue to be allowed because we accept it. And so we are adding to the problem. I literally sometimes even give like one strikeout because it makes no sense in this day and age that if you, I'm paying you for a service, and you're not living up to whether it's a verbal or contractual agreement.
Yes,
it's still an agreement. Your verbal agreement is still as highly important to me as your contractual agreement. So when you say that I will be there in the morning, first and foremost, we have to establish what time, or because it's a verbal contract, so we have to establish all the terms and conditions verbally.
Right.
And so it's incumbent on us as well to establish this, because some persons need to be guided. Certainly. And so if we're not guiding them to like, listen, that's just open-ended for me. Your morning is like open-ended for me. Now let's establish a time. Just guide them. Okay, that's no problem.
Exactly.
No problem at all guiding people. I have no issue with that. But what I do have, when we already been guided and given stipulated time, oh my goodness, that verbal contract, it's kicking.
Yes.
And so if I accept that person coming, okay, I can give you a little grace, fine, because things happen. But also, the day and age right now with the technology, listen,
make a phone call.
You had a phone call away.
Yeah.
And yes, again, things may happen where something serious might be happening. And again, I allow for that as well in my head. But when you want to come back and say to me, probably an hour later or whatever, 2 hours, whatever it is, and you show up, oh, you just showing up because that's it. You just showing up, and I thank you and goodbye.
Gives them something to think
Because
about for the next time.
because if you keep accepting it, that's the service straight through that you will be receiving straight through your verbal or whatever service that they are rendering.
For sure.
So
And
we
at
have the
some
power.
point- Yes, definitely. We have the power.
We have the power to accept or reject, and that's where it starts and where it ends.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I gotta thank you so much for calling, because I always felt like I was the bad guy for demanding this time, because like you say, we're accepting it. We're accepting just in the morning or in the afternoon.
You were the bad guy for. Did you still entertain him? How long did you entertain this person? Did they end up
No,
doing the
I was the bad guy, because like she said, you tell the husband one thing. So I said, I need you to call him back to find a time.
Okay.
And he was like, and he insisted on saying in the morning. So I'm like, no, it's
Yeah.
going to be a time
Yes.
for you to come. But yes, I gave in, and I gave him the job, and he came. And yes, he still only tell me in the morning. So I lost that battle, you guys. I lost that.
Okay. and we go down and we do some, but we don't make sure that becomes this accepted norm. That's a key thing as well too. When it becomes an accepted norm, it's allowed.
Yeah, that could only be a brother, a sister, or a very close friend that you really, because if I'm paying, we got to talk it out. You got to give me something to stand on, because you want me to be home so you can get in to do the job. So,
but you know, Jackie, I'm a stickler for time.
Yeah.
Good night, ladies.
Myself,
thank you, Miss Robinson. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Robinson, for calling in. Myself, Francis, you were extraordinary. We thank you for coming on the show. But also, thank you for tuning in every week with us and sending us the side notes, because I know you're out there listening to Table of Change. We just have to send another shout out to the Boulevard on University Drive. Go out there and check them out. They have pool tables, drinks, food, karaoke, a good time at the Boulevard. Then we also have Turning Point on the Grove. You have to go and hang out with the mature crowd, right, Jackie, at Turning Point.
It's a good crowd.
And you said that's the home of who? Is that the home of?
The home of the Lassie Doe Boys, Cat Island.
Oh my goodness, that sounds like a good time. Ms. Francis, any final words for us before we end the show?
Well, my motto is give what you expect to receive. If you want to receive good service, then please step out every morning and say, today I'm giving it my best, and give me some service.
I also want to say thank you to my listening audience, because you hang in with us. We were very late coming on. We apologize again. We're going to get this better. We are going to get this right. Table of Change will be back again next week at 8 p.m. sharp, and we're going to have everything right. ZNS, we're going to do it all right. So we'll see you next week on Table of Change.
The views expressed on this show, interview, or program are not necessarily the views expressed by the ZNS Radio Network and, by extension, the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
You were listening to Table of Change. Tune in again next Tuesday at 8 o'clock for Table of Change. This is ZNS Radio 1540 AM, 104.5 FM, the national voice of the Bahamas, where only the sun covers the Bahamas better. The time is 9:30. At 9:35, we will bring you Earl the Pearl, Plain Truth Speaking.
Profiling everybody. 104.5, yes, they playing hit songs. Profiling everybody. Bahamian music. Time bothering me. Say what, here we go. Trying to regatta for a ting-a-ling-a-ling. Hey, hey. Ting-a-ling-a-ling. ZNS and 104.5. Don't need no money, nor a ting-a-ting-a-ting. Hey, ting-a-ting-a-ting. Well, show me what you got. You say you want to taste. I ain't no play girl. I ain't got time to waste. You say you want to talk, but that's what your mouth say. I ain't gonna be no side piece. I ain't on their way. Oh, you're tryna get a chance. You tryna get a chance. Telling me you won't be my man. You're tryna get a chance. Yeah. Telling me you won't be my man. That I know lazy girl. So when you said to me, better be correctly. That's one thing I can stand. Is a jokey man. So sharpen up them skills before you try your hand. So you say you're trying to get a chance. You want to get this chance. Telling me you won't be my man. You want to be my man. You're trying to get a chance. Telling me you won't be my man. I don't want you inching up on this floor. Baby, careful, take it out. Refuse to smoke while you should stay in port. I want an and this is fine. Take your time. You're trying to get a chance. You're trying to get a chance. Telling me you won't be my man. You wanna be my man. You're trying to get a chance. Telling me you won't be my man. Say less. Do more. Say less. Do more. Say less. Do more. Do more. Say less. Do more. Say less. Do more. Say less. Do more. Say less. Do more. You say you want a chance. You say you want me wet. Then let me see you move. Better mash up this place. Say you's an island boy and only come to eat. Realize an island gal and I want all the meat. Oh, you're trying to get a chance. This chance. Telling me you won't be my man. My side piece. You're trying to get a chance. You're trying to get this chance. Telling me you won't be my man. I didn't want you inching up on this floor. Baby, careful, take your time. Refuse to smoke while you should stay in port. I want it outside and leave this way. You're trying to get a chance. You're trying to get a chance. Telling me you won't be my man. You want to be my man. You're trying to get a chance. You want to get a chance. Telling me you won't be my man. You want to get a chance. You're trying to get a chance. You want to be my man. Telling me you won't be my man. My man. You're trying.
Bad news. Bad news. Bad news. Bad news in the land. Everybody getting down. We're gonna take this news straight to town. There's bad news in the land. Bad news in the land. Everybody getting down. We're gonna take this news straight to town. There's bad news in the land. Shake it up, set. Some people hear it on the radio and some watch it on TV.